Hello and welcome to this week's LOL Esports Top 25 Power Rankings, where I cover the top 25 teams in the League of Legends esports ecosystem with a little bit of help from the algorithm. I watch literally like 90 to 100% of the games for the four major regions, so I like to think I got a decent vibe on what teams are looking like. Now, when it comes to smaller regions and how they fit in there, that's where the algorithm comes in because I don't have time to watch everybody. Some people have suggested in the minor region video, oh, watch one game of each. Well, if they have one good game, that's going to give me a bad read anyways, so I'd rather just use stats. So stats only tell one part of the story. If you're a fan of the minor regions, that video, like I said, came out yesterday where I covered the top 10 minor region teams. There is a link in the Discord where if you go and go in the under the extra content channel, you will see the complete 109 team power rankings, not as specific as this. Well, very similar, just 109 teams, all the teams ranked, but that is all algorithm based after the top 25 because obviously, like I said, I don't watch all the minor regions. Now, speaking of minor regions, Latin America, you're not represented on this board. Astral Esports, you're in the playoffs now, and you're 27th. CB and Loud, as they go in the playoffs. Loud is the top CB team at 29th. They did not finish first, but came on strong at the end. VCS, GAM Esports. Now, GAM Esports yesterday were not first. Saigon Buffalo was. GAM played this morning, surpassed them. GAM are 31st. And Turkey TCL, Nasser Turkey Esports from the TCL are 39th because the TCL is on Struggle Street. It's just as simple as that. One second. When I make sure this audio is working, is it working? It looks like it's recording. I didn't want to have what happened this morning happen again. This video is pretty important to me. I like having fun with it, and I feel like doing this video twice would make it really crappy the second time through. Just one second. I'm going to move my notebook a bit so I can read. Sorry about that noise in the background. That kind of sucks, doesn't it? So, last week, C9 and Excel were in the top 25. They aren't anymore. Excel now 7 and 8, C9 8 and 7. They are not top 25 teams. This week there are more minor region teams, which I'll get to when I'm done putting minor regions in here. But 25th place are Misfits. New to the board. Misfits now 9 and 6, coming off of a 2-0 week where they beat Mad Lions and Astralis. Beating Mad Lions is a big win. I talk about it all the time. If you beat teams that are above you, matters a lot. Misfits pulled that one off. They've been good the last few weeks, and maybe they can sneak in. Zandra has given them a little bit more pizzazz in jungle, and honestly, I think the LEC and LCS are complete just messes, LEC especially. So that's why Misfits are coming on strong now. And like I said, I think he has a lot to do with Zanzra. I think he maybe pairs well with Vethio. Neon's had a couple good games. 24th, also new. Detonation Focus Me. DFM from Japan are in here. They finished, I don't know if they finished their split. They haven't, I don't believe. But they're 16 and 2. Very good team. Obviously, we saw them at MSI. Steel, one of the top junglers, in my opinion, at MSI in the early stages. Eevee, we've seen quite a bit. Yahorung doesn't die in mid. Very, patient mid laner that puts up stats. Udapon, a similar 80 carry. So, Detonation Focus Me, a solid team. Nothing you can really take away from them. J Team move up one spot in the PCS. The PCS playoffs start this week. They look pretty heated. There's a few teams at the top. 3 of them will be listed here, J-Team being one of them. And then there's Deep Cross Gaming and even CBTC Flying Oyster that are very good teams that I think may have even won important games of tiebreakers over teams that are on this list. But J-Team 13 and 5, they played, 7 games last week because they were making up for COVID, and they went 5 and 2. Which is why I don't really take away from them when it comes to tiebreaker game, because that was like their 7th stage game in 3 days. 22nd, I didn't drop them out, although originally I had thought about it. Vitality. Vitality dropping 2 spots on paper. Obviously, Vitality's a great team, but you lost to Astralis. That's not a good look. I know Astralis have been middle of the road, but Vitality on paper were starting to prove to us that they were better they're starting to prove to us what they're supposed to be, you know. And they didn't do that against Astralis. They lost big, and beating BDS is not an accomplishment. And losing to BDS is bad. That's why Excel's off the list. So we'll see what happens with Vitality this final week, and I'm sure in best of fives they'll be better. I did have them in the maybe category for who's going to Worlds, and I still would think that. 21st, PSG. PSG 14-4. They went 2-1 last week, dropping 3 spots. You know, minor region teams are going to move around this bottom part of the power rankings all the time. You know, I think that they're going to be competitive, which I'm going to get to actually in a second. So what we're going to do is this. So 20th, Frank Esports, which is kind of a hot take. Actually, we're going to do the next two real fast. So Frank Esports overtakes PSG as the top-rated PCS team, and then in 19th we have Chief Esports Club dropping 2 spots, okay, from LCO. So we're just going to get this all out of the way in one shot, okay? I really, and I was thinking about it today on the way home. So 4th LEC team, 3rd LCS team in play-ins. We think that that's locks, and the way these teams are playing, I honestly, I feel like it's a hot take, and I don't think it's a probability. I'd give it like 30%, maybe at the highest. I see a world where a second PCS team gets in, or I don't know if there's 3 PCS teams or 2. I mean, I don't know. If it's a third, I could see the third team. If it's the second, I could see the second. I didn't really look before I'm saying this. Vietnam, I know, has the second team, and they're related to this. I really don't think the 4th LEC team and 3rd LCS teams are locks compared to the 2nd or 3rd PCS team and the 2nd Vietnamese team. I really don't. The way these teams are playing is downright awful lately. Just very coin flippy, and I don't know if they're getting experimental, but honestly, the standings are too close for anybody to even really think that and actually have something to stand on to back it up. So, it's not good. It really isn't good. So, I mean, for VCS's sake, they play some crazy stuff down there that I don't think these LEC and LCS teams are ready for. And in the play-ins, I could see them losing games. I really could in best of ones, and even in best of fives or best of threes or whatever. I really, really honestly believe that like these PCS teams could do it. Like Frank Esports will, if they hit, they blow a team out, and they don't lose by a lot. PSG are like a very, very solid. You know, it's like a LCK light in the way they play. They do not play Smash Mouth League of Legends like LPL. They play clean League of Legends and a very, very clean game of League of Legends, like PSG and J Team do. Like this sort of stuff. Honestly, I could see them beating teams that are very coin flippy that we have in the LEC and LCS in that 3rd through 5th range like we have right now. I mean, it's just, and it's a shame. I mean, I don't say it's a probability. Of course, like I said, I give it like 30% at max that one of those teams can get in over one of the LEC or LCS teams, obviously more so the LCS. But it's not great. And Chief Esports Club, PentNet Gaming, I guess, I mean, someone clarified, they came out of MSI a couple of years ago out of groups. So it's possible. Chief Esports Club are probably their best team they've had in a long time out of Oceania. And I feel like, fans are going to disrespect them. And the thing is, hopefully the teams aren't, hopefully they have more sense and more like, respect for the game. That they would see that this team clearly must be doing something right, at least in their region, to be 40-2 on the season. So, that's a thing. So now that's out of the way. That's a lot of my spiel. 18th, we have Rogue. I don't know what Rogue are. I really don't. Rogue this past week went 1-1, beating Mad Lions, losing to SK. Honestly, I didn't know whether to put them. They moved down 2 spots. Ooh, that's really ugly, huh? Is that a 2, a 3, a 1? I didn't do nothing wrong, hopefully, to my recording. But what is this team? One day they beat Mad, who Mad's really good. They were on a roll, and all of a sudden Mad throws up an egg this week. And then they lose to SK, and SK is not a team I like. No offense to SK, but you really don't inspire me at all. So I don't know what's going on with Rogue, really. I don't understand what's going on at the LEC or LCS. Next, we have TL. TL move up 4 spots, right? Yep, 4 spots. Okay, so TL move up 4 spots, going 10-5, beat EG. That's a big win, and beat FlyQuest, which is a team that, just off this list, and the next few teams probably. Those are 2 solid wins. Those are not joke wins. EG was the number 1 team in the LCS, a very competitive team, and TL beat them. Maybe that's the, thing that TL needed to, get over the hump and now go on a run here. Because they have the players to do so, similar to Vitality, but having, slightly more success. 16th, my guilty pleasure, Thunder Talk, dropping 2 spots. TT dropped 2 spots. They're 7-8. They went 1-1, beating Ultra Prime and losing to RNG. 7-8. All they need to do is beat Rare Atom, and they're in the playoffs. That will be like vindication, because all year long people have been telling me Thunder Talk stinks, and I'm like, just wait, Thunder Talk are good. They got to play the easy team still, and Thunder Talk are Beshwan's really good. UCal showed up big today. He finally showed up. I'm high on this team. It makes me feel good after FPX really just I don't even want to say it. Nothing appropriate comes to mind about what FPX has done to, my thoughts about them. 15th, dropping 5 spots, EG. So, EG dropped 5 spots. I still think there might be I think it's safe to say that they could be the best team in the LCS still, but lost to TL and beat... Who'd they beat? Oh, yeah, beat TSM. Well, good for you. You beat TSM. But TL's not a good loss. That's a good loss. That's not dropping you off the list. You didn't lose to TSM and beat TL. You lost to the better team. And maybe that's just, it is what it is. Because EG and TL did duke it out in spring a couple times, I believe, in playoffs, if I recall. The Danny, obviously, Penta at Baron is a thing that really, is what dreams are made of, and no one has forgotten that. They're closely matched teams. So 15th and 17th makes sense. 14th moving up a few spots because I can't kick them off the board until they're until this team is dead. They're not dead. G2. 9-6. Off of a 2-0 week, beating XL and Fnatic. They beat 2 teams that were slightly below them, at least in opinion, and showed we are definitely better than XL and Fnatic. We are a playoff team. We are a top 4 team in this region, and that's what it's shaping up to be. It's going to shape up between the 5, Mad Lions. Yeah, Mad Lions are on this list. They're not off of it. So it'll be between these 5, and I honestly wouldn't have expected by Misfits to be in here. But the run they've went on, in playoffs... in the Discord, I will say sometimes, it'd be nice for Misfits to go, a final run with Team Heretics coming in and Misfits, stopping, and ending their league team. It'd be nice for them to go to Worlds, go out on a bang for the players, for management and all that. But then it's like, oh, well, do you want us to win? And it's like, well, I'm just not in the mindset that I think an LEC or LCS team are going to win Worlds at all. This year is just not the case. I said it a few weeks ago. I'll say it again. I really don't think it's going to happen. So give me something to be like an emotionally invested person in. You know what I'm saying? Give me that. Give me something to want to watch versus something that's like, oh, well, this team's going 2-4 again. Not worth it. First LCK team on the list, KT Rolster. KT moving up 2 spots right now. They are the hottest team in the LCK. Obviously, outside of Gen G, KT are playing some Smash Mouth League of Legends. Aiming and Life have been arguably the best bot lane in the LCK in summer. And I said arguable. They've just been playing really, really good. Went 2-0 this past week. No, sorry, 1-1. They beat DRX, lost to Sandbox. When you lose to teams around you or above you, you got to take that into consideration. You know, how close are they to that team above them? Versus, they separated themselves today by beating the crap out of DRX. It was a beatdown, 33-2 in kills. So KT playing great League of Legends. You can't take that away from them. Moving up one spot, our top LCS team, 100 Thieves. 100T plays the same damn game of League of Legends every week, and they're right now 12-3 because of it. Went 2-0, beat Golden Guardians and C9. C9's a solid win. C9's a team that could beat them. Golden Guardians a team they should win, should beat, I guess. But play the same every week, and when it comes to Worlds, I think they're going to get smoke showed for doing that. Maybe in playoffs they pull some things out that it's like, oh, you've had that in your arsenal the whole time. Well, I guess now or never, right? So that's kind of the only hope I have for them. If they continue to play the same kind of League of Legends, I think internationally they're going to struggle, but they continue to win. So if you're doing something right, why change it? 11th place, the top LEC team, Mad Lions. Yep. In the top 10, I don't have a single Western team. And it's Mad Lions, I thought, was the team that could be competitive. I really did, and then they went 0-2. They're 10-5. They lost to Rogue, and they lost to Misfits. Two teams with winning records. So you didn't lose to BDS and SK or something. You lost to two teams, respectable teams that are beating other people. So we'll see if it was just a bad week out of them this upcoming week, when things really heat up for them. Like I said, could just be a bad week. They could have got a bad read in scrims, and it backfired on them when the weekend rolled around. But it's disappointing. It really is, Now, the top 10 just happen to be Eastern teams, which it is what it is. 10th place to really upset people. This is going to really upset people. This is really... T1. T1 dropped 3 spots to 10th place. Now 14-3 or what? 13-3? I don't know which. 1-1 this past week, losing to Sandbox 2-0. Soundly lost to Sandbox 2-0. It was not really close, which is concerning. They beat Nongshim, but it took 3 games. That's concerning. They have struggled for the last couple weeks. And that's a problem. It's to say it's the meta is a thing, but this meta in 12-14 is not going to be much different than it's going to be at Worlds. Now, of course, things will change in scrims and things like that, but right now there's not going to be significant patch changes, buffs, and nerfs to cause the champion pools to be very different. Outside of maybe something just forming within scrims that comes about that we don't know about yet. But right now, T1 stinks. Just no way else to put it. T1, I think, play Damwon before the split's done. And that's going to be very important because in 9th place, I have Damwon Kia. Moving up 3 spots. And that's what's going to irritate people. Because why do you have Damwon above T1? Damwon are 10-7. They beat Kwangdong, lost to gen.g. Well, losing to gen.g is a lot better looking than losing to Sandbox. And I think they lost in 3 games and not 2. Which is important. That's something to note. They beat Kwangdong today, soundly, 2-0. They did not win 2-1. Okay. Neither team are playing exceptionally well. So it's up to you to determine which one's playing better right now. And honestly, I think it's a coin flip. And what's kind of interesting and what's going to be exciting as we get to the gauntlet and things like that in the LCK, these 3 and then the other 2 are going to be battling for 4 spots, which is going to make things fun, right? coming down the stretch, Dom 1 and T1 have sucked so bad that now there are 5 teams vying for 4 spots. When I thought it was going to be 3, and then whoever wins 4th gets it. Now it's like, oh shoot, there is a world that isn't like super far fetched to think that Gen, Sandbox, and KT are in, and then it's between T1 and DK for the 4th spot, which is pretty damn incredible. It's pretty mind blowing. Wouldn't have thought that before. Speaking of Sandbox, they're 8th. And you're probably saying to yourself, why are they 8th? You know, like they just beat T1. You know, that's good. They beat T1. They beat KT. Those are 2 wins over there. That's important. Those are big wins. Yes, they are. It's big to get over the hump from this column to this column because I've said all along, top 8. Those are the teams I think that could win worlds, right? 1 second, just to clarify something for today. Pretend that it's only 7 and up can win worlds. I love you, Sandbox. The way you're playing is great. You're a great story. Prince and Cal coming on strong. Cal being a rookie. Like, that's massive. Closers playing solid League of Legends. Dove, role swap top laner. I didn't think Sandbox was going to be good in summer after spring. I didn't even know who Prince was. You know, I did my news and notes video on him, but I didn't know nothing about him. And Sandbox have played great. But when best of 5s come along in the LCK, I'm going to see how they actually fare in the playoffs when these dogs are actually like, okay, we're ready to go. Like, let's go. It's go time. This is where we thrive. Sandbox, well, a couple of us have been here before, but have we been here together? No, well, Kale's never been here at all. You know, who knows what's going to happen, right? If they make it out, yeah, of course. I guess they're a World's contending team because they're from the LCK, but like, as of right now, I have a tough time putting them in there. 7th place, EDG, not moving. Oh, no, moving up 1 spot. EDG went, or 11 and 5, went 1 and 0, beating Anyone's Legend to end their split. Anyone's Legend, solid team, middle of the road. EDG, obviously world's defending team. I am not going to say that they can't win worlds. I think that that's kind of ridiculous to say, oh, I don't think there's any, like, to say it, like, I'm not going to be that guy and say, well, anybody obviously can win, so everybody, it's not like that. I'd say, if you think that somebody has more than like a 10% chance of winning, I would say that they have a chance. And I think EDG does have that chance. I think they have Viper and Mako and Scout players like that can actually get the damn job done, and they're a better team with Jungia and Jungle than JJ. 6th place, not moving. Weibo. Weibo. Weibo Gaming are 10 and 5. They beat FPX. They have 1 more game left tomorrow against LNG. Good team. Obviously, at their top peak, they are like up here. They're maybe the best team in the world at their peak. SFM, top 5 jungler. The Shy, top 5 80 top laner. Wanfeng, maybe a top 5 80 carry. Like, this team could be the best in the world on its best day. But you can flip a coin to figure out if that's going to happen or not, because sometimes it just doesn't happen. RNG moving down 1 spot. This is not because RNG did anything. They went 2-0. They're 13-2. They beat Thunder Talk and they beat IG. Beat IG 2-1. Of course, they lost the game to IG, but RNG are a very, very good team, getting better by the minute. Breathe is looking fabulous. You know, this team's very good. There's nothing I can take away from this team. We're getting to the nitty gritty here, you know. So moving up 1 spot to Victory 5. There's a couple narratives that you can think about. Because last week I dropped them because I'm like, I don't think this team is any good compared to what it was with Karsa. And I still really don't. But they last week ended the split 2-0, beating Ultra Prime and Top Esports. Top Esports was first in my power rankings last week. Needless to say, they're not anymore. But, yeah. So, Victory 5-1 was Senna, Seraphine, and Bot. Senna Seraphine's very good in certain spots, and Photic Senna is absolutely cracked. So, Was that, Top taking their foot off the gas and getting punished for it? Was that Victory 5 showing something? Was that Victory 5 for funning it? I don't know. So that's something you got to really think about with this one. And I liked what Victory 5 did there. It drew a Senna ban again because Senna, they weren't picking Senna. Now it drew a Senna ban, I imagine. So that was a good move. Fourth place, you know, I know I went over that kind of in a weird way, but that's Victory 5 right now are a weird team to me. I want to say I don't really think that they're good enough, but they just beat Top. So speaking of Top, dropping 2 spots to third. Statistically, they dropped, 13-2. Beat LGD. Of course, you beat LGD. If you didn't beat LGD, I would have probably put you eighth and said there's only, or seventh, or said there's only 6 teams to win. LGD stinks. Um, but lost to Victory 5, so they drop a couple spots. It's not because, if someone's first and they lose, they drop out. No, it's because they've got a couple losses. Pretty much. I mean, Victory 5, when they lost the first time, I didn't move them down. Top just kind of, it's really close at the top of the LPL with, the next team on the list, JDG, who moves up one, and Top Esports. And we're going to get into this right now, actually. So, first place, obviously, what's the team missing, right? Gen.g. So, we're going to talk about them together. Let's talk about these guys together, right? JDG average, I think, like last time I saw when I did my Patreon thing, 17 kills a game, which is the most. That's the most in the 4 major regions, I'm pretty sure. By at least a kill, maybe a kill and a half. Gen.g dies less than 7 times a game, which is the lowest. So, the way I'm viewing this is defense and offense. Which is going to win? Because they play the cleanest League of Legends we've seen in years. Very clean. They do not need to punch you in the mouth to beat you. They're slowly gonna. It's like they're like a boxing analogy. They're gonna throw haymakers at you, go into lane, try and punch you in the mouth, and knock you out and end the game off of making things happen like that. Where Gen.g, they're gonna jab you here and jab you there, and take a turret here, steal a couple waves, steal a couple camps, outnumber you here, so you back off. Like, that's what Gen.g does. So who's going to win when those two play each other in Worlds? I don't know. I hope to God they play each other in Worlds. I was thinking about it today. Top is very different than JDG. Top is a lot like Gen.g, but like a poor man's Gen.g. You got the top laner that's kind of more weak side top lane, like Wayward is Endoran in terms of how much he plays weak side, but you have Knight in mid. You're weak side, right? You got Knight and Chovy in mid. Junglers, not like Kanavi. Kanavi's a carry-oriented jungler. He's going to put up a ton of farm. He's going to get ahead of his, matchup, and he's going to try and carry the game. Where Peanut and Tien are more like, we're going to try and make things happen, get our laners ahead. Our laners are our stars, right? And you look at, JDG lacks in bot lane compared to these two. Hope and Missing are not quite Jackie Love and Mark. Well, closer to them than Ruler and Lehens. Ruler and Lehens are elite. But that's the thing. Like, JDG and Gen are very different. A lot to do with that jungle, a lot to do with the bot lane. And we'll see which one is superior. But, that's kind of how I was thinking about it today. Because it's an interesting thing. Now that we're getting to the end here, we're getting ready for Worlds. So, go to the Discord if you'd like to see the 108 team power rankings. Hopefully this video is under 30 minutes. If it's over, so be it. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. And like I just said, and I'll say again, thank you for watching and sticking with me as we get to nearly 2,000 subscribers.